Minimalism? That's exactly right. That's the tool you need to get a little bit of freedom back. As usual, we want to learn something new, to get motivated, and we want to share and celebrate good and positive news and outcomes from our lives. So if you have something positive to share from your day to day, feel free to leave a comment below. Hello, let's talk about minimalism. And before diving into the topic, we need to know this. As soon as we are lifted out of poverty, we face this important big fight, which is fighting the problem of having too much. Now, we need to be aware that most of the people living today, about 70 to 90% of all people on our planet today in 2021, they still fight the other fight, the fight of not having enough, because it's the huge inequality of distribution. That's the problem, distribution of the world wealth we have. Distribution, because it's unbelievable that people still fight hunger because they don't have enough food. They fight thirst because they don't have clean water or basic healthcare and medicine. And the other small minority fights the other fight, to which we probably belong to, the fight of having too much all around us. Everything is filled up, is piled up to the roof with too much stuff. Minimalism helps to get rid of this feeling. It gives us freedom. Freedom from depression, freedom from being overwhelmed, from worrying, freedom from the trappings of the consumerist culture we've built all around us. Freedom. That's what we need. Freedom from the pile of stuff we own. That's what George Carlin said about what we desire most in our lives. George Carlin, the great comedian, he had a piece about this, saying that's all we need in life, just to hoard a little bit, a pile of stuff. And when our pile of stuff gets bigger and bigger, we need a roof over it. And then we need to rent or buy a house. That's exactly what our houses are, a roof over our pile of stuff. You can see that from up above. When you go into an airplane and you look down there, you see all these small pieces of piles of stuff. And you look around you see the same thing. She has her pile of stuff there, and he has his pile of stuff there. That's all our houses are, a pile of stuff. It's all we need in life, some stuff. Exactly. And we don't want anyone to come around and you steal our stuff. That's why we need a house with a door that we can lock. Because when we go out, and there is only one reason to go out of our houses, and that is to get more stuff. Now, when we go out, we want to lock it up, because we don't want anyone to come by and steal it, because they steal only the good stuff. That's all we need in life. Sometimes you gotta move, sometimes you get to have a bigger house. Why? Because you have too much things. Your stuff is getting bigger and bigger. You need a bigger house for your stuff to put in it. And I think that makes a great point. That makes a great point what we covered and desire. The human heart has this immense problem of coveting things. And that starts from very small, from very young, when we experience, and each one of us experiences this, of not having something. We experience of coveting something someone else has, because we didn't have it, and perhaps our parents didn't want to buy it. And then coveting is experienced in our heart. Exactly right. Many religions talk about this feeling. Christianity talks about it. Even Buddhism makes it as a main concern. It says, coveting, desire, is the root of all evil, of all suffering. Suffering comes because we desire something, especially things. Perhaps it's reasonable to say that we are aware of how life was before us and how life is still around us, how it feels like not having from our parents and grandparents, because it's just one generation before us that had it much worse than we have it today. And yet, and still, we live in modern countries and we fight the other problem. Overwhelm, the problem of having too much. More than 99.4% of all people who ever lived on this planet, about 80 billion, we are those who have much more than any generation before us, and still it's a problem. Obesity becomes a problem because we have too much food. Information, who knew that information and access to it will be such a big problem? Yet it is. The problem of having too much stuff. And the song from 1987 written by U2 still fits in today because we still haven't found what we are looking for, haven't we? No, we didn't. Piling stuff, coveting things, and knowing how it is not to have. Perhaps a different thought is to leave a legacy, and I have to say something about that. In my experience, and I had the opportunity and honor to farewell quite a few people, to speak with their families after they passed away, asking them how were they in life. And you know what? We almost never talked about their pile of stuff. Sometimes, but very, very few times. We usually talk about how people were, how we experienced them, what kind of memories, what kind of lives did they live. We almost never ask what kinds of things do they have. Did they have a cutlery? Do they have nice cutlery? Or do they have the pen, a special pen? No, we never ask those questions. It doesn't matter. You know what? When we die, no one wants our stuff. Perhaps the good stuff, but most of our stuff will be thrown away. That's what happens with our stuff. Perhaps it's good that we remember what one verse from the Bible, and to give you an example with a different quote from Edward Morgan Forrester, expresses. And he described this: naked I came into the world, naked I shall leave it. And a very good thing too, for it reminds me that I'm naked under my shirt, no matter what color it is. Isn't that true? Isn't that something we should remember? We came naked and we will leave naked. And no matter what clothes we have, we will all give up one day everything we piled up in our life. So perhaps it's important that we concern ourselves, that we consume our energy, that we spend our money on other things than just stuff. We should do that. That's one great encouragement. Talking about clothes, perhaps you have a good look into your cupboards. Do you have clothes that you don't use anymore, that are not fitting? Just throw them away or give them to someone. That's another good encouragement. Throw away every day one thing you don't use. It's a tip from theminimalists.com. Have a look on their website. Throw away every day one thing you don't use. And I'm sure you can do that every day. You will find something in your house you don't use. Just give it away, throw it away, make a present to someone. Every day, do that continuously. So why? Why? Because then you voluntarily rediscover some of your freedom. Some freedom back to you. And then you are, secondly, intentional about what you own and what you have. Many people come and say, well, I want to be minimalist, but I love this thing or that thing. Should I throw them away? Why should I live like that? And the answer is no. You should always be just intentional about your things. The things you have should be things you use. Why would you have things you never use? Or things you use very, very occasionally? Things you could borrow from someone. Someone would be more than happy to come and help you out if you don't have something you need for one occasion. Minimalism. Minimalism helps you find a little bit of freedom. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching. As usual, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you find it interesting, and if it helped you, stop your mindless scrolling through YouTube and discover something interesting. Like always, we want to learn something new, get motivated, and celebrate positive outcomes. See you next time. Until then, bye.